Hi everybody. So this is going to be kind of an interesting video. We'll just see how it goes. I would like to address a topic that over the years I have learned more and more about. It's a conspiracy theory, as some people state, but it's a highly likely happening in our world. I'm not one of those people who just accepts what is initially told to me. I have to kind of dig deeper, maybe look at all sides of the situation before I come to a conclusion. And so, when I go down these like weird rabbit holes online, and one rabbit hole, because I have been a avid Beatles fan since I was a wee lass, and I've always especially have liked Paul McCartney. And I don't know, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was at home one day, kind of just like looking up YouTube videos about the Beatles and Mr. McCartney. And I came across a series of videos from a channel called I Am a Phony. And so there are a lot of these videos made with a lot of kind of vague, cryptic, even almost sometimes unnerving revelations about the Beatles and who they were and where they came from, and the immense influence that they had on the world and in culture, let alone music. So I started kind of like digging deeper. I watched a lot of those videos, and a lot of it had to do highlighting on the occult aspect of the Beatles, that they were involved in these occult rituals and these occult activities, and putting stuff into their music to change the mindset of the culture, because music is such a good mechanism to put people in like a hypnotic trance, get them to reinforce the beliefs that are being pushed out to them, if that makes any sense. So in doing more of that research, I am a really big advocate, or not advocate, fan of a gentleman called Jay Dyer, and he did some really good analysis on the Beatles. And this was about 4.5 years ago. I found his information, and even just the symbolism of the Beatles, and why were they named the Beatles, and where did they come from, and a lot of Jay's evidence set out, and it's not just Jay's evidence, but he was the one who kind of opened up my eyes to it. They are a product of the Tavistock Institute. And there is a organization called the Committee of 300 who branched off and started bringing in all of these different experts in mind control and programming and just different things to influence the culture and to, again, put the people in some sort of hypnotic trance. So they blindly go along with what's being pushed. So that got me going down another rabbit hole, and I found another gentleman out there who has a wonderful YouTube channel called Sage of Quay. His name's Mike Williams, and I'm not trying to name, bring any of these guys into this. These are my own opinions. But these guys, Jay and Mike, they got me thinking, and they got me going down these. There is a lot of proof if you are willing to have an open mind, if you're willing to actually dive into the literature and the knowledge. So through Mike Williams' channel, I was introduced to the memoirs of Billy Shears by Thomas E. Harriet. And Tom is actually a really cool guy. Very, very, very smart. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I have interacted with him here and there throughout various online groups and even through emails briefly. This is the memoirs version that was released in October of 2021. I just learned through Mike that a new version of the memoirs is being released with more sort of numerology pumped into them, because this is a second edition, second run with lots of updated information in it. And what I find... Okay, so let me just set up the premise of why I do believe this story, okay? This book is set up in such a way that there is just so much detail and so much even reactions. I don't want to say in time reactions, but reactions to other YouTubers out there who have presented their theories about different things regarding this McCartney conspiracy. So I guess I need to kind of backtrack. I haven't explained what that conspiracy is. So the McCartney conspiracy is that in 1966, the real biological Paul McCartney was killed in an auto accident of some sort. That's the general conspiracy story, right? And that because of the influence that the Beatles had on culture and on the world, they decided to go ahead and replace Paul McCartney with a man who looked like him. And then after many, many different plastic surgeries, became similar to biological Paul. But you can look at other people's YouTube channels that go into depth about picture analysis and their proof as to how they get to these points. I find it fascinating because this book comes from the point of view of William Shepard, the man who allegedly replaced Paul McCartney in 1966. So, if you look at the Beatles from when they made it, 1962 to 1966, their music was good, of course. They were very popular, but it wasn't polished. It wasn't advanced. It wasn't avant-garde. And in 1966, that completely changed with the introduction of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And even in that album, occult ideas were introduced to the culture, and so this was like big when the counterculture was going on and developing. And the Beatles even had Aleister Crowley, supposedly twice. He's hidden by James Manfield, his second picture, but then the picture of him on their album, he's in the upper left-hand corner, bald head and all sticking up. And something that is interesting, though, that comes from this book is a theory that the man who replaced Paul McCartney, and I will call him Billy, is the son of Aleister Crowley. So if you take comparisons of Aleister Crowley and Paul McCartney's son, James McCartney, they're like twins when you put them together. And so a lot of people speculate also because, I don't know, it was like 10 or 20 years ago, McCartney put out an album, and inside it said something like, "All hail the King of Cosmania." And so the King of Cosmania is an anagram for the son of the magician. McCartney is known for liking things like that, like puzzles and double entendres and anagrams and just different things like that. So there's a lot of different like layers to go through with it. So just to sum it up, in recognition of this topic, in the book, which I love, I kind of just wanted to do like a card read and see if we can pull any sort of like energy out of the cards that could shed more light on this topic, because I find this topic super interesting. And like I said, you can go to other YouTube channels and check out all the theories and stuff for yourselves. I just kind of wanted to do a reading on it. I feel compelled to. I have seen, I think I saw one other tarot video out there of a lady who really didn't even know who Paul McCartney is. She did sort of a blind reading about him. So it's kind of like inspired by that, I guess. I just, yeah, it's a fascinating topic, and it would not surprise me. You know, there's a lot of stuff in our reality that we believe that we shouldn't believe. And we believe, we believe, nope. We believe them because they were told to us. We were told to believe them. And I don't go with that theory in life. In life, I definitely, I don't know. I just don't go with that. So I just kind of feel compelled to kind of do a little reading, and I question everything, and of course I'm going to question the validity of this theory, which I think, oh, there's a jumper right there, which has validity, definitely has validity to it. So okay, so I had 3 jumpers actually. So let me go ahead and put them down. And this might be a little bit more intense of a spread. I might do 3 rows of 4 just to see if we can get like a full picture here. Let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna shuffle it up a few more times. Just like I said, you gotta shuffle until you feel like the cards are ready to do what they do. And I usually will feel a tightening in my gut 90% of the time when I do readings, and that tells me that I'm tuned in, and I keep dropping cards left and right. Okay, so there's the High Priestess and the Ace of Cups. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the deck, and we'll lay out more. There's the Emperor and the High Priestess. We have Temperance reversed, the Page of Pentacles reversed, and then we'll do one more row. 2 of Swords reversed. And oh, another 2 of Wands reversed. Oh, and then we have the 9 of Wands reversed. And then we have the 9 of Pentacles. Whoa, so we have some numerology here, definitely, and I find it super interesting that we have 2 9s. Yes, we have two values as well. But the significance of the number 9 in numerology signals a completion of something coming full circle and being done, basically. And also something else that's very interesting about the number 9 when it pertains to the Beatles, pertaining especially to Mr. McCartney, and this is explained in the memoirs, that numerology is highly important to those who follow occult teachings. You know, you can call them whatever you want. You can call them the Illuminati. You can call them like the deep state. You can call them pretty much whatever you want. These people highly believe in the magic of numbers, and putting those numbers out and displaying esoteric symbols that other people in the know can read, while those of us who cannot, i.e. we're called the profane by these people, they just see them as like normal, run-of-the-mill, everyday symbols, right? So, so let me just take this in for a moment. So this is telling a interesting story. So we have actually quite a few double ups. We have two tens cards. We have two number 2 cards. And we have two number 9 cards. You know, so in memoirs, with the numerology, there, Billy explains that he identifies as the number 6, and that Paul McCartney would be identified by the number 9. And then, like, hence the number 9 revolution, the number 9, that thing, and then when you backmask it, it says "Turn me on, dead man." That's all pointing to Paul McCartney. So, it's kind of freaky, but that is something that Billy tells us in the memoirs. So the number 9, and it's interesting that we have 9 and then 10, because 9 in general will represent something that's coming to a close, something that is approaching completion, kind of coming full circle. And the 10s are cards that represent full completion, like it's done. So this kind of tells me, just gut reaction, that the real Paul McCartney, his life did come to an end. And then Billy stepped in and a new beginning started. That's what I get. But let's kind of go through the story and see what else we can deduce from it. So starting off with the 10 of Wands reversed. So this is a card of great burden. It's somebody who's not taking responsibility for their actions. It can be like a burden of circumstance. And then tied into the next card, the 5 of Pentacles, the burden could be financial. This is the card of poverty. You see the two desolate, sort of transient people outside of the nice warm church. It is the card of poverty. And so tying into the next two cards, this shows me that there is a choice to have been made. Usually the High Priestess it's a major arcana card, so this is a major life decision that needs to be made of some sort. Not a decision, I'm sorry, it's a opportunity that is presenting itself. I'm seeing decision elsewhere in the cards, and I got kind of thrown off there with my verbiage. So the 10 of Cups, again, complete happiness. The cups are associated with water energy, emotions, and love, and things of the heart. Whereas, the swords are concentrated more on like intellect, the mind. So what I see in this first row is a sort of acceptance of an opportunity being presented. And it's actually kind of funny that we get the High Priestess because in the memoirs it does explain the Masonic connection to the Beatles, and these two columns that the High Priestess is sitting between are the Freemasonic pillars, the pillars of duality, Bose and I think Joaz. I may be wrong on the Joaz, but these are the pillars of duality that all mankind sits in between. And it is kind of like, it is sort of a choice, you know. It's also sort of like a spiritual enlightenment of some sort. So taking that row, just leaving it there, I see this as, this is usually the row that shows a past situation. And I see somebody who was very burdened by poverty and had an opportunity presented to themselves through Masonic connections, maybe, and realized that there can be a lot of happiness and contentment with this opportunity presented to them. So we'll park that right there and we'll go to the second. So this kind of, So in the Ace of Cups, again, the cups are things that deal with emotions. The Ace of Cups reversed shows somebody who has had to bury their emotions, bury their true feelings about perhaps the situation that they're in. It's kind of like sadness and just even maybe like a lamenting of some sort. And going next to the Emperor. So the Emperor usually will be a card representing like total control. Like you're in control of your shit. It is a major arcana card, and it represents a male figure who has stability, control, and who is a strategic thinker. Somebody who has been good in business, somebody who is the shit, basically. So he is this as a result of having to suppress his true self and his emotions. And when you go to Temperance reversed, Temperance is another major arcana card. This definitely shows there's some sort of disharmony, though. There is a stress or an anxiety or a tension that this opportunity has presented because the individual has to basically cut off their old life, say goodbye to their old life and their old feelings and their old, everything. And it's caused a lot of stress in life. And that has caused, in turn, with the Page of Pentacles reversed, a sort of burnout. Like, I'm getting the feeling that he's just tired of putting on the act. He's tired of the McCartney gig, basically. So So what I am deducing right now so far with these first two rows, I see Billy as a child growing up in poverty, born a poor young country boy, right? Gets this opportunity presented to him, but has to suppress his true self in order to become successful. And this has really caused a lot of tension, sadness, and strain on him in his life. And so going to the final row here, so Two of Swords reversed, and again we're going with the two twos in the read, which can symbolize duality. There you go with the duality again. What path are you going to choose? This is a very hard decision to make. That's what this card represents. Very, very hard, based on having to hide who he is and who he was in order to be successful. And next to it, as the Two of Wands, it is something that he obsesses about. This card can signify like future events are out of your control, but you're going to try and plan for them because you have so much hidden and buried away that it has become an obsession for him in his life to sort of reconcile those two lives. You know, his private life as Billy and his public life as Paul McCartney, right? I don't know. And so then you get to the two nines at the end, and that's what I think is interesting about getting the nines at the end of the reading, getting the tens at the beginning. This shows me that his whole life has been in adversity, basically. It is this card here, instead of like it being straightforward, it is describing a situation that is a bit different than what it really is in reality. Wow, right? That there could be even more to this McCartney thing than we know about. I mean, I'm sure there is. But again, it goes into like creating a false facade for the world in order to gain this success. And then at the end, you know, he ends up very successful, very prosperous, very just there, independent. He's able to now do whatever he wants to do, but it's signifying some sort of end is at bay here. It's coming. This whole cycle that he has created for himself in life is coming to an end. So yeah, wow. What do you guys think about that? I mean, I guess you can kind of think of it, or, you know, if you have a different interpretation, I would love to hear it. I just want to pull one or two more cards just to see. Oh, so we have the Six of Wands reversed. Then we have another pairing, the sixes. This is Billy coming out. Oh my God. The Six of Pentacles. Holy shit. And then the King of Swords. Wow. Okay, so yeah, wow. So we had 2 9s signifying Mr. McCartney and the 2 6s signifying Billy, right? Oh, this is crazy. So usually like 6s, and when you get 2 6s together, it can symbolize a sort of like reflection on one's life path, the journey that one chose for themselves. Something to kind of keep in mind. Interesting. But the 6 of Wands reversed kind of shows disappointment. That there's maybe worry of being disgraced, maybe feeling jaded because he's not getting his praise due with his own name to all of the material he's made in his life. The 6 of Pentacles upright is basically like the charity card. This shows somebody who is very generous with their money, even their time. It's a card that signifies like giving and receiving, generosity, basically. So maybe like giving to charity. I know he got knighted, right? So for all of his charitable endeavors, that could be something. And then you get to the final King of Swords, which it's really funny to end on this card, because this just shows that this individual, the King of Swords, Billy, has no morals, basically. That his morals and ethics have been compromised over his life. And because of that, there's no regret for anything that he's done. No regret at all. And it was all worth it, basically. So, wow. Yeah, I would definitely say this read, I don't know if it really gave any insights into the Paul McCartney conspiracy or theory, but I do think it showed us the life path of Billy, and that it is coming to an end. It's drawing close. And the fact that we got so many doubles in this spread just blows my mind. Again, 2 10s, we got 2 2s, we had 2 9s and 2 6s. 6s were Billy, 9s McCartney. So that right there tells me in the overall picture that we are talking about these 2 individuals as separate people. So in my gut intuition from this read, I would say that it is true, and that Billy has gone through a lot of compromise and a lot of disappointment in his life, having to push down his true self to become this other version of somebody else. So, wow. What a trip. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to put this one out because it really is a WTF spread. Again, it just kind of like reaffirms the feelings inside that I've had, and my theories in my head based on other people's research and presentation of the information. This kind of reaffirmed it for me personally, at least, that this is a true a true story, and there is merit to the old memoirs of Billy Shears. So I recommend the book, highly recommend the book. And if you're here, this has been a really, really long video, so I'm going to sign off now and say thank you for sticking to the end with me. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye.